right. Peace and Black Power family. I am here with my brother, Olayinka, man. This interview, man, is years in the making, bro. The last time we talked was what, 2016, 17?
Yeah, about 2 years ago. About 2 years ago, yes. It's been a while. It's been a while. So I'm really happy to be here. I'm really happy to be with my brother Hassan. You know, he came all the way from Miami. So like, you know, I wish I saw you sooner. I've been so busy, but I'm really happy I can make time to really spend, to talk to you and talk to our people. So I'm really happy about this. Thank you.
And that's what we're gonna talk about, man. You've been super busy with the vitamins, bro.
Yes,
Touch on the vitamins right quick. Let the people know why it's important and give them a background of what it's about. The importance of it.
Absolutely. So, well, I own a vitamin company, Olayinka Vitamin Company. So this vitamin is manufactured just for us, just for Black people, unapologetically, right? It's a pro-Black company, right? And it even says that on the website, right? It's just for us. It's non-GMO because it's for us, so we got to have superior products, right? It's non-GMO, vegan. So we have kids, we have vitamin C, D, zinc. So unfortunately, I don't have it with me today, but you can check out my website. I think my brother will tag you guys on my website on this interview. So not just that, we also giving our people opportunity to start a business with our company, right? So we believe, I think we spoke before about economic development, in the Black community. So we give our people opportunity to be distributors, to start their own business as distributors with our company, right? Just Black people. And on top of that, 20% of our profit goes back to our community. So when you buy our vitamins, you actually also invest in Black community. So it's a win-win for everybody, So I'm really happy to be in a position to not only build wealth amongst our community, but also give back, right? So yeah, I'm really happy about that. Also, one more thing. In my background, I was actually, a lot of people don't know this, but I worked in a pharmaceutical company for more than 10 years. So I was a clinical manager. So I worked for those big companies that you see on TV. I can't name names. So I worked for them in terms of creating drugs, right? Creating drugs and getting them FDA approved. So I know the process. I know the connection. I know the factory. So through what I learned is what I'm able to bring to our people. So I believe that whatever skill we have, like you're a teacher, bringing it to your people. Naturally, you're a teacher, right? So if you're a social worker, whatever the case might be, you bring your skill set to your people. So that's what I've done, So I'm really happy to be in that position.
Now, a lot of us think just because we're melanated that we're enriched with this vitamin D naturally, right?
Right.
Tell them how important it is to have vitamin D, especially in this climate of this COVID. Break down to them why that's very important.
Oh, absolutely. And it's a fallacy. A lot of you, when I first came out with the vitamin D, people were like, oh, but I'm always in the sun. I live in Florida. I live in California. I live in Africa. And I'm telling you this, a lot of people that take vitamin D in Africa found out they were deficient. They didn't even know they were deficient until they started taking the vitamin D. And it's a fallacy to think that you're okay because you're in the sun. The melanin actually makes it difficult for you to make vitamin D like other groups, right? And it's a double-edged sword, us having the melanin. It's amazing because it protects us from the rays of the sun, but also because of the protection, we're not able to make vitamin D because the sun is not penetrating our skin like other groups. So vitamin D does not really come directly from the sun. Actually, like other people might think, it's actually an hormone. So what happens is that once the sun hits your skin, there's a chemical reaction under your skin. So their skin starts to come together, some hormones, chemicals come together and creates the vitamin D. Now, because we have melanin and the darker you actually, the more difficult it is for you to make vitamin D. So Black people like you and myself, we gotta take Olayinka vitamin D on a daily basis. I take mine on a daily basis, even in the summertime or wherever I'm at. So due to that, it makes it more difficult to make vitamin D like other groups. So we gotta take not only high potency, like that's why I make it 5,000 IUs. We are taking a good high potency, but on a daily basis. So as Black people, a lot of times when we have things in our community like diabetes, high blood pressure, like it's the young men can't even not to make it, XXX, but can't even have sex correctly. I've had situations where wives are reaching out to me, telling me that their husbands are actually really better in bed, like, oh, are you giving me Viagra? I'm like, no, just vitamin D. You just need a vitamin D. That's all you need it. And other components in our community was just based because we like vitamin D. So I'm really happy. I'm really happy to not only bring this product forefront, but also educate our people on like a lot of lies that we've had, historically. So yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Nah, and that's very important to understand, man, because a lot of us don't really dive deep into the biological part about who we are as African people. We just feel that, oh, well, you know, we get in the sun or we see something on Instagram or YouTube and we just run with it and not go deep into the scientific part about it. Right. So you've been busy. You know what I'm saying? I've been keeping up with you, trying to catch up with you. You was in Miami not too long ago. I was like, yo, you was handling some business and you had to scoot out. Yeah. So recently, man, you were in Haiti.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You in Haiti, man.
I had to visit Haiti.
Talk about that experience to me, man, because not a lot of Africans, like, in the diaspora, we go to Africa. Haitians go to Africa, and we experience, because we want to go back to our roots, but not a lot of Africans go to Haiti, right? So break that experience down for me. How was that?
Well, it was a blessing. To be in Haiti was like, I just had to visit. You know, the same way I go to Africa, and the same way I feel I had to visit Haiti. That's just like so important. I feel like I've always said this, like every black person on the planet, every African on the continent in America needs to know Asian history. Like Haiti is so important to us. And visiting there and touching the ground and going to monuments and just touching the floor, it's like, wow, like this is where, you know, great things happen. So it was a great privilege for me to meet people from Haiti. Again, we donated to the orphanage over there. The kids were so happy to just like, and so they embraced me. Like they were so happy to see somebody from Africa come, because they don't get that experience often. Right. So they were so happy, and the kids were so happy to just be around me. So and to that, like I made a lot of friends. They would teach me Creole. It was just great, and also I saw a lot of connection from my culture, specifically Yoruba culture, and in Haiti. Not only the personalities, but the love language, right? The love language is there. It's like I'm home. It's like little Africa. I'll be honest with you. It's like I'm in Nigeria. If not, like if I could speak Creole, if I could speak Creole, then I'll be like, okay, you know. But it's like I'm in Nigeria exactly. So, it's like the people, the love, the culture, the food, you know, just the energy is just no different, you know. And I think that because they separate us, so we're not able to see the connection fully. And I think Instagram, even though Instagram helps, it doesn't do justice to, you know, it doesn't do justice to like,
talk about that.
Yeah,
we gonna talk about that.
So being there is so important, and being there to even help my people, my African people in Haiti was so much. I was so happy. It almost made me cry, and I never cry. I just said mention and cry. I could, you know, make her cry, but I mean, I haven't cried in a long time, but I felt like crying, you know. Right. So it was like, I was so happy. I was just really happy to be there. Yeah.
Speaking about crying, I wanted to cry when Haiti was rejected from becoming a part of Africa.
Right.
Because, you know, and I think in 2015, we were supposed to become a part of the AU. Right. And that would have been monumentous to me, man. Right. And people say, oh, well, you know, that's too far because the Caribbean, Africa. But I was like, the United States has Puerto Rico. Right. And that's like a territory in itself. So why can't the continent of Africa be connected to Haiti? But nonetheless, are you familiar with you are Yoruba, correct? Yoruba man. Are you familiar with the history of the Nigerian Civil War?
Yes. There are several civil wars, but they are the 1960. Yeah. I think that's the Biafra. Yeah. I should say pronouncing it right. I should be, but it's not coming to me right now. But it's it's a Biafra war. You know, if I'm saying it right, you know. So going back to what you said earlier, I'm glad that Haiti wasn't accepted. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why.
Talk to me.
Because you have to understand, Africa is our own. Africa is not free. Right. All those organizations you see, AU, all those, it's not African organizations. All those people are not ours. If Haiti wants to be accepted, Haiti has to succumb to certain laws and status of Europeans. You have to understand, a lot of people there are just Africans with European, like, you know, European faces, but Africans, you get it? So they're not ours. They don't stand for the people. So that's why, you know, Africa's always suffering. That's why, you know, there's always problems in Africa. Not because, like, Africans have issues, because Africa needs to continue to have economic issues for other people to come in and dominate. You get it? So if Africa was good, it would be hard for the Chinese to come in. It would be hard for Europeans to come in. It would be difficult. So they need that economic issues. So like the same way I feel, if Africans in America got reparations today, Europeans would be 10 times richer. So our first job is to control our economic system, and that's part of the reason why this business also is important, because it kind of shows you like it can happen, right? It shows that we need to see something like that happening. So until we control our environment, it will be our fault to say, let's join, let's organize, right? And that's just my take on it. Because when I see Africa right now, I don't see Africa for Africans. I see Africans who want to be free, but we're not free. We have illusion of freedom. So, Biafra, going back to Biafra War, the Biafra War was actually due to colonization. It's like you right now, you're from Haiti, I'm from Africa, I'm from Nigeria. I'm Yoruba man. We never seen each other before. We don't have concept of like race, because Africans generally are always amongst each other. Mm-hmm. And then we just kind of like, okay, live together, live in the same house. Right. You have a different culture. You have, we're not, and many times we always assume that Africans are monolithic. Exactly. It's a monolithic. We're not. Right. Africans are totally the same way you have the Caribbeans are different. Yeah, Africans are totally different, but we have same things in common, but generally we are different. Correct. Even in Nigeria. So I always feel like that they're always Europeans tend to kind of like I'm gonna say they see the differences and they take that and they utilize it, they weaponize it for their own benefit. Shit, that's me. Yeah, this guy.
my bad. Okay. I'm like, I'm calling your phone. Just got a new phone today. My bad. I ain't never phone.
So they see the differences. That's why when Africans they watch us, they understand us, they know us more than we know ourselves, and they utilize that for their benefit.
Say that again, man. I don't they know us better than know us. Say that again.
Yeah, they will study us. So when Europeans conquered Africa, when they conquered many parts of Africa, they didn't come with weapons. They came in as friends. They learned the language. They learned the culture. Many of them spoke the language. They learned who we were. They learned that's how they even created the devil in the Bible. When they brought the Bible to Yoruba people, they couldn't find the devil, so they used a god called Eshu. It's a deity. Mm-hmm. Eshu was not the devil, but they knew that some Yoruba people didn't like him because it was a trickster. Right. He's like the Loki of the European, like was a trickster sometimes, but he wasn't evil. Right. It was a trickster, so they was like, oh, that would be a good devil. So they utilized that as the devil. So they learned us. So the Biafra was no different. Like they will give you power. You say, you know what? We give you some guns. And those people, we want you to go to them and you conquer them. They're your enemies anyway, because Africans would think naturally they'd be your enemies. So you'd be like, oh, that's great. You conquer them, and then, we just benefit from it. We just take their resources. And that's what you have to give us. And that's how it happened. Even the Rwanda war, I don't know if you remember, the Hutus, they did that. They used one as a police over the other. So now the issue with Africans, because people would say, why did Africans take that? What you know now is the aftermath of things. Like when Africans saw Europeans, Africans didn't know Europeans existed. Africans were all over the world, so they had no concept of race. The Africans now I've never seen European. I never saw Europeans until I was 13. When I got on a plane, I thought something happened to the white guy. I thought like somebody peeled the skin. I'm serious. Like I was like, I thought when I was like, yo, I was crying because I told my mom, like, what happened to him? Like, I've seen them on TV, but just to be around them, like, that's crazy to see hair all over their bodies. Yeah. But my point is that Africans at that time, where I had no concept of race, European, whatever. It was like
still struggling with that.
We're still struggling with that, right? Right, exactly. Like, and maybe right in New York, and then but in the deep Africa, in the villages, they don't see them like that. They don't see them. Yeah. You get so. So they utilize that, and also what happens is that also our diversity. Remember, black people are the most diverse people on the planet. Europeans are diverse, but not as much as black people. So they weaponize that for their own benefit. They weaponize everything. Every little thing is weaponized, and that is like you mentioned, like just being like when you're by yourself in a cave, right, in their environment. Everything is utilized to like kill and destroy. Everything's a weapon. So Africans are sported in abundance. You watch basketball? Yeah. So if you notice, like African men when they play basketball, they could jump, they could run fast, so they don't. A lot of times they don't really do the technique like the European does. Mm-hmm. The European pass a lot. The European like runs around, do like steps. Africans are blessed. We are blessed with so much gifts. Our land is blessed with food, and we don't need to be killing everything. So we just right. So same thing with
they rely on their technique.
Yeah, they rely on their technique.
We rely on finesse.
Our grace. So God, we're abundantly naturally blessed. So, and I think God spoiled us. We are spoiled even now. Like, and I tell this, with all the genocide they've created, because I would say this, that Biafra war, any war amongst Africans, any war, any issues with Asians not liking Africans and Africans not liking Caribbean, all these issues, they created that. Everything they've created with slavery, everything, we're not supposed to be even in existence. Africans are supposed to be wiped out. To them, to even be, the point that the fact that we're here and we are talking, we have people supporting business, we're creating businesses, it's like a miracle. It's not supposed to exist. So, so I always say this, like Dr. Amos says, he's like, don't look at situations, look at who benefits from this situation. That's the only way you can understand the European. So if you're looking at, like, if I look sometimes, if you look at, let's say, people from the Caribbean, say, oh no, I hate Africans, or I hate this, I don't want them coming or whatever. And then you have to look in the context of, like, why are they like that? Because that gives us humanity. When European goes around and they kill 6, 10 people, it's normal for us to give them humanity. We say, oh, they were selling news, oh, he goes at it by childhood. So let's give them humanity. Yeah. Right. So when the white man is like, you know what? I'm going to spend $10,000 on a Lamborghini. Not to say give them an excuse, you know, not to say excuse it, but we also have to understand, if you understand why people are the way they are, it's the sense of, like, you know, they're humans, you know what I mean? And the mindset is fragile. And I feel like for so long we've been oppressed, we take away our own sense of humanity. Like, we look at the effects, not so much the cause of things. Right.
And I just want to build on that, because it's funny that you say that. Like, let's say, for example, I got a cousin, Pierre, right? And he fuck up his bank account. He blows some money. Right. We look at him like, oh, man, he's a fuck up. Yeah, he messed it up. Europeans fuck up whole economies. When shit go wrong, it's because Europeans, they steal money, they're changing 401ks, they fuck up whole economies, but we never look at them as economic fuck ups. Right. But when we, you know, blow a bank account or blow a check or do some ridiculous stuff with some money, then as we become bad money managers. But, you know, when the crisis hit and we went into a, you know, recession a few years ago, that was because of Europeans. Yeah, right?
And I just had a conversation with a banker friend of mine, you know, and you know how a lot of people wants to get educated, they feel like, oh, I'm like, listen, with the amount of money that Europeans steal from Africa, right? When some people call Nigerian scams. If you want to know scam, no, I'm telling you, go to Nigeria today and go to companies, European companies in Nigeria. You know the level of scam, like unbelievable.
Shell companies.
Not even just shell, all across the board, $1 trillion.
No, empty shell companies.
Yeah, you know, I just want to name names, but but I'm telling trillions of dollars taken out of Nigeria's economy. So, but they control the marketing system. Right. So that's why they never have stigmas. Right. Even though they're the baby daddies of America, they never call baby daddies. The Father's Day, they you know, Europeans escaped. European man is escaped from all of that. So if you notice that Africans are labeled, black people, they have the Jamaicans or this, you know, Asians or this. But European men has no stigma stuck to them. Even though they do worse of those, so they can control those things. So even every 10 years or so, they always have economic crash. Why is that? They steal from every country on the fucking planet. I'm sorry for my cursing, but yeah, so they steal from every planet, but yet they have economic crash. Why is that? Because they don't know how to manage money. They splurge money. They waste money. They waste resources. Everything they touch dies. The seas, the land, everything is dying, and they have all of these things, and they splurge. But the black man is wasteful.
Becomes the face of
it. Yeah, exactly. We become the face of this. But yeah, so, and I tell people, like, you know, as a clinical manager, I've been around them. I've been at that eye level. Like, I feel like a lot of our people, the problem is that many of us, are forced to work medium jobs. And we see Europeans in a different light than if you're around them, where they're really, you know, there's different types of Europeans. There's Europeans who are just regular Europeans, and there's just wealthy Europeans. And they look down on each other. But you notice the behavior is different. Yeah, the behavior. So I feel like we have to really study our enemy in chocolate. Many times they're not the same. But one thing that unites all of them is the fact that they look for their own self-preservation in any means necessary, right? In any means necessary. And I believe in my heart that everything that we have, like the vitamin business and my other skincare business as well, needs to be weaponized against other groups as it builds us up. economically.
Facts. And a lot of us think when we say, you know, that we are at war, that it has to be a necessarily physical war. But there's cold wars, right? Where shots are never even fired. You know, there's economical wars, there's trade wars. So there's many ways that we can actually go to war with the Europeans, because a lot of us are scared to die. A lot of us are scared to die. We don't want to die. So, you know, there's many ways that we can do this. But I just want to go back to the Biafra and, you know, Nigeria's civil war. At the time, it took place in the 60s, and there was a dictator in Haiti by the name of Papa Doc, and he was a Pan-Africanist. Yeah. He actually sent people and resources to the Biafra side of the, because you know the Biafra flag is red, black, and green.
Yeah, I got it. It's Biafra.
Right.
Yeah, it's okay.
Pronounce it.
Yeah, Biafra War. It's a Biafra War. You know, it's kind of just a shame. I should really pop in my head right away, but yeah, there was a lot of, and then one thing about Biafra that messed that up, right? Again. That's why I've said this before. I think I made a video about that. How the marketing tool is their real weapon, not nuclear warfare. This video that you're watching, this like the sense of like creating imagery, the sense of creating themselves as good and beautiful is really what is their weapon, is their real weapon. And I feel like, yes, that was so true. There was a trade between that. They were sending, you know, food and resources over there, because what they did was they kind of like, they were blocking roads at that time, so that some people would starve, and saying resources not reaching where. So at that time, there was actually sending resources from Haiti to Nigeria, Lagos. But what happens was certain countries like the Israel were very much involved. Of course, France, honestly, Western countries are involved in bringing weapons into and putting into the hands of certain groups that they know that they were able to kind of do their bids. Now, I want you guys to think about this, right? Why would you see Africans in the poorest areas, some of them with no shirts, some of them shirts all ripped, dirty left and right, but they're carrying $100,000 weapons? A gun is not cheap. A bazooka is not cheap. But you see Africans in the poorest areas having bazookas, right? Again, because these countries are just dumping it there, So, so all that tactics is utilized. Excuse me. All that tactics is utilized in creating warfare in Africa. And then what happens was that they kind of go away. They kind of leave the scene. And you know what they call that? They call that, it's just this form of genocide where they kind of they create an environment where you kill yourself, like in the hood. They create an environment, they take away the jobs, they take away, I believe, for you to feed just your family, and they kind of step away and they say, look at you. Look at you killing yourself. Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah. So just speaking on that war, it's not to say who's right, who's wrong, what side was, but it was kind of more like to highlight the Pan-Africanism. Right, between Nigeria and Haiti, and how Haiti was sending aid to the people of Biafra. It's not to say who's right, who's wrong, whatever the case. But
Toussaint was actually, it was a statue of Toussaint in Benin.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've seen it, so it's nice. So I feel like there's a history context there. There's a connection from Nigeria, and a lot of people don't even know. There's a strong connection from Nigeria and Haiti, and there's that love. There's a love there. And even America, Africans in America and Nigeria. You know where the term Akata come from? So now people.
Yeah, boy, you gotta take the mic on that one.
so now people will perceive Akata was but now people deem it as negative word, and people utilize it as negative word. But actually, Akata initially was a form of supporting the Black Panther movement. So Akata in Nigeria is a wild animal, like a wild cat.
A domestic cat.
Yeah, Akata utilized Akata. Could be utilized more. Yoruba words, one word could you mean different things depending on the situations. Yeah. So Akata could mean domestic.
Let me just say this: if you only speak one language, what he's saying may not make sense to you, right? Because you only speak one language, so it's one-dimensional. Right. But in Haitian Creole and in Yoruba, there's ways of saying things that can mean multiple different things, right?
Same thing,
right, but it's still the same thing. Right. So it's kind of hard for some people to contextualize when they hear that, like, oh, Akata is offensive. But from what my research, I'm gonna let you go on, but from my research shows is that it means like a cat or animal that doesn't live at home. right? So it can be like an African who lives outside of Africa, and it also can mean like a warrior in a warrior certain type of way. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and break that down.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, some people do utilize it as a form of like derogatory because they're not conscious of what it means. But Akata definitely means because they knew about the Pan-African Black Panther movement, so they saw it on TV because at that time also Africans in America was fighting for South Africa.
Right.
For the so there's a sense of Pan-African there. Like people don't even know the history of that Pan-Africanism that was going on in Nigeria. So Nigeria was like, like our people has been oppressed in America, all praises to the Akatas. They start calling them Akatas because they saw them as warriors. Akata was like a Black Panther is a very first animal because a Black Panther is actually more powerful than a lion. Even though it's not as strong, but a panther is more intelligent. So that's why, exactly, climb trees. So if you was an African and you was to fight a panther and you won, you actually seen as more powerful than if you fought a lion, because a panther could jump left and right. A lion could like fight straight. So when warriors want to fight lions, they'll put the shield down, and they'll just run away. The lions will still think the warriors are behind the shield. It will be confused. But a panther knows better. A panther is smart. So Akata was actually a form of endearment and form of a word of support to Africans in America. So I think that's where the words come from. So we have history of that Pan-Africanism, of that connection, and that history we need to bring it back to light. It has to be resurrected in our businesses. It has to be resurrected in our our mindset. Even as pro-blackness, there is no pro-blackness if you're not a Pan-African. That's not really pro-black because there is no liberation of any Black person on the planet unless we all liberated. That's why people talk about, we want to have a nation in America. I'm like, nation? How you have a nation? You don't control your land. You don't control your water. You don't control the air. Until we have sovereignty in Africa, where we actually control the AAUs, or to control the gold mines in Haiti, control the coal and all those things, we can never really be free. So, going back to businesses, that's why Black businesses, true Black businesses, is extremely important. So yeah.
Let me just build on that too, because in the Haitian Creole text we have a term called diaspora, right? And it's the same context of how you use the term Akata, right? Diaspora just basically means someone who lives outside of Haiti. Now it was positive at one point, like a way of saying diaspora, right? It was positive, right? Now it becomes offensive. So when I went to Haiti, there's like, oh, you diaspora. Yeah, like so it's and people don't understand that, man. So it became something positive, and now it's using something negative to degrade somebody, to call them a diaspora and things like that, man. Okay. Yeah, man. But again, now since we don't read we read that conversation, then we gotta talk about ADOS. We gotta talk about foundational Black Americans, because you're Nigerian, I'm Haitian. We are considered to be second or first generation, immigrants to this land. But you and I both have a common agreement. We both respect the African American culture. We both respect their history, right, and what they've been through and their struggle, right? And a lot of people who believe in this ideology don't believe that we respect it or even understand it. What are your viewpoints on that?
You have to understand that. So I've been in this country since I was 13. So I would say I had a good sense of what it means to be African American. Like, I wasn't born here, right? But I know what it means to walk down the street as a Black man, right? I wasn't, I know what it means to live to be African in America, So I generally see my brothers in America as part of us, right? We have different cultures. We see different things, We have different contexts, but we are the same, right? We're African people. Right. You have to understand, some people in ADOS, it's intention that matters. Like, if you have love for something, like if you love something, right? If somebody say you're not Asian, you will find ways. You will look for things to prove that you're Asian because you have love for yourself. So when you don't have love for yourself, initially they don't want to be part of Africa. They don't want to be they want to see any unification intently. It's in their spirit. Like, they're not looking for that. So you could bring any book to them. You could show them any truth. They don't care. Like, they'll find ways. They'll find a bone, like, oh, look, I see this bone, and it's proof that I'm not African. Like, they'll look for grass. They'll look for insects, anything. Like, look. So you have to understand that them is like, it's in their spirit. right? Not to see unification of African people and black people around the world. So I just see them as people who are just not meant, who are going through trauma of oppression. And they're not mentally okay. I don't see them as a normal-minded African. I don't think they're mentally well. And like, so a lot of our people are not, mentally well due to what we've been through in this country. I mean, and I understand, like, my ADOS brothers and sisters, like, I do understand if you hate Africans, but don't get in our way. Don't get in our way of us doing what we're doing to unite our people. I always tell people, if you love African people, if you see yourself as African, go to where the love is, right? Any country I've gone to, I've been to Jamaica, and I went out to Jamaica. There was people that was like, "Oh, you African? Oh, we don't talk to you." They told me that, but I had a great time because I always went to where the love is. There were people that embraced me, that was so happy to see me come. And I feel like I'm telling you this, those of you who are listening to this ADOS people, like, don't waste your time with them. If you have love for your people, go to where the love is, because any kind of stories of any African that might hate you, there are millions of the others that love you. So. And, I feel like if your intention is good, if I see Asian brother today that didn't like me, I know I have my brother Hassan that loves me. I know I have my other sisters and brothers in 80 that love me. So, if we have the good intention in our hearts, it's going to come to fruition, No,
facts. Yeah, a lot. Today I was at the Malcolm X Shabazz shopping center in Harlem, right? First guy I went over to, guy from Tanzania, had an attitude. I said, you know what? Don't worry about it, my brother. Went to another lady, she was from Senegambia. We had a 30-minute conversation. I ended up spending like a lot of money with her. You get what I'm saying? Like, we have to learn to go where the love is, like you said.
Yeah, go where the love is.
If like there's Haitians, like I'll give you a prime example. There's Haitians who come to the United States who don't really mess with Haitians who were born and raised here. Right? Where you got Haitians who were born and raised here who say things like, oh, they boats. We call them boats because they came on boats, right? So even in the Haitian culture, there's a form of separation where it's like, all right, you different from me, I'm different from you. In Nigeria, it's the same thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think a lot of times because Africans in America are kind of centralized here, and other people are coming here on top of them, it makes them feel like the whole world is against them because you have everybody from Nigeria, from Haiti, from Jamaica coming here, and they kind of feel centralized in a way.
What's so funny though?
Talk to me.
America actually do not allow Africans in continent and Caribbean to come here and become citizens so easily. You know why? Because once they come here, just to show you how this works, once they come here, they become part of the African American population, which adds to African American socioeconomic system, which makes them politically more powerful in the political spectrum. So that's why when people come from Europe, they quickly get their citizenship like that. Because now it adds to the European population. It makes them so whether you believe your ideas, as an African, once I'm here, I am part of you and you're part of me. So you might see yourself like, oh, I'm separate, and people will come in. I feel like that visual that us coming to take something is crazy to me, because ever since I got here, I never seen a black-owned grocery store. The Chinese are always in our hood, right? They're always in our neighborhood. The Arabs are always in our neighborhood. They're the ones that really come here. You know what I'm saying? There was no Africans that open grocery stores in the black neighborhoods. We don't open the shopping centers. We don't do any of those things. Right? No, honestly,
we're struggling too.
We're struggling like we going through the experience of being African in America. Right? Yes, many of us might come, with different mindset because of our experiences are different. But we are here. We're here like if I run out as African, I'm not gonna walk down the street and the cops stop me. I'm not be like, oh no, I'm from Nigeria. Like, I'm different. I'm not African American. So you can't stop me. You know what I mean? Like, I've had experiences where cops stopped me many times before, and I'm not gonna, I never told them like, hey, listen, you can't say that to me, bro. I'm not ADOS. You know what I mean? I'm not, I'm from Nigeria, so we're different. No, we are here together. We need to solve our problems together, and no matter the differences that I feel like different Africans, Caribbean, whatever we might have, if our problem is not seen in the light of unification, we will never be free. Because even if African in America got their own land and whatever the case might be, any nation can come in and dominate them. Right? So only when they're connected to Africans and our resources, when they're connected to resources in Haiti, that, oh yeah, you mess with Africans American, like they created that Kakata mentality right back in the days. Like, yo, we coming, right? African Americans know something that we don't know. They share with us, you know, because a lot of Africans need to learn what African Americans know. And I've said this before, that African Americans are the key to African liberation.
Ooh, 100%.
I keep saying that because...
And I just want to build on that. And I want to play devil's advocate and say that this is not in any way saying that they don't have a reason to feel the way they feel about a lot of, because, you know, there aren't too many Olayinkas, there aren't too many Brother Hassans out there. We do have a problem in our culture where people praise whiteness, where people, yeah, and it's all black cultures. It's all because we've all been oppressed. So that's just to play devil's advocate on that part. Not to say that they don't have a reason to feel like, oh, you guys, you know, sometimes be undermining them and cooning and things like that.
You know what, I'm sorry to cut you off. My dad told me something, and my dad is not even like me, like, you know, like conscious like that. But he said something to me that was very moving. My dad was a doctor, right? And he said that Africans in America, what they've been through was, you know, and us coming in, we don't have the same mentality as them, right? It's an example. And he said this, I was very shocked because, you know, I never thought my dad had that kind of like awareness. Yeah, right. And he said that imagine somebody telling somebody they can't make it, and everybody around them is going to jail. Everybody around them is getting shot, or they see negative images of them from birth. So they don't come out and be like, you know what, I'm gonna be a doctor. No, naturally, it's very hard. Like, you see very few of them come out and be like, you know what, I'm gonna challenge the system and, you know, and go out and really do the, because like they see the system beat them down to the country. Now, Africans from the continent, Caribbean, yes, we have experienced their own oppression, but it's from other groups of, you know, of other black people. So even other black people that are oppressing us, like the government or, you know, police or whatever the case might be, they're not oppressing us because we're black. So in fact that somebody's not oppressing because of the fact they're black, you're escaping some form of trauma. Because if you say you hate me, I'm like, oh, you hate me because, you know what, like, I just don't like you because you live over there, right? That's different from you not liking me because I'm black. You get it? So we escape some form of trauma that they had to endure. And so when Africans come here and then they become lawyers and doctors and do all this stuff, and because also many of them subscribe to the mentality of white supremacy, they'll be like, oh yeah, maybe because they might be lazy. Right. Maybe because they might, and not knowing, if not for them, is why we're here. Is why we're able to come here and become all these things. And even Olayinka Vitamin Company is what it is today, and is able to create, was created because of the, you know, of the death and sacrifice of our African ancestors in America. Mm-hmm. So absolutely, I totally agree. But I feel like, you know, that's why we need to come out of that trauma, work together to build each other up. Right. You know, so all that's that happened to us, yes, it's valid, but we need to now find ways to find solution. We have to be more solution-based, you know? Right.
Now, I'm 100% about that, about solution-based thinking, man, because a lot of us get stuck in a repetitive thinking of, it's your fault, it's my fault. So let's focus on the solutions, man. I'm all about this Pan-African work. And like you said earlier, go where you are loved. If you are around Africans who say, oh, you are this and you that, and we don't rock with you, then you don't need to be there, man. There are plenty of Africans that when I step in Benin or when I step in Haiti, they open arms. Open arms. Give you a place to stay at. You get what I'm saying?
I always say this. If you was African American, right? I mean, you know, if you would come with me, even you as you are right now, if you came into Nigeria, they will show you more love than me. Right. They will show Africans, and they love African Americans over there. Like, I swear, like, they will show you more. That's guaranteed. The majority, I'll say 90% or 95, or they will show you. They will be like, oh, you want something? I got you. Oh, you from America? You African American? Oh, because they were like, oh, you know Tupac? I'm like, yeah. They asked me, like, yo, you know? I'm like, yeah. It was my friend, and then, you know, Snoop Dogg. Oh, okay, cool. That's my friend. That's your friend. Oh, okay, cool. You know, so they love African American culture and they embrace that, but. As I always say, like, some people don't have that good intention on art. Right. So that's why some ADOS people, they're not looking for any form of, like, unification, or they're not looking for somebody to change their mind or some love. They're looking to disrupt. And that's to understand. Some of our people are looking to create confusion. That's why they will see one African. They say, oh, you know what? I hate African Americans. They're lazy. They're dirty. Whatever. And they're like, oh yeah, look at that. That African just said it. The African represents. Look at. So the African represents billions of Africans. I'm like, what? So that one Africa is a professor. So I'm like, does that even make sense? And people buy into that. You know what I'm saying? So without even giving it a chance. Now, if you look at the other part. Now, if you look at Europeans, how they treat Europeans. Now, if a European was to say, you know what? I hate black people. They'll be like, oh yeah, those are the South, those are the South. You know, those in the North are better, they're nice ones. See that? So our mentality is very, very. We give our other groups humanity. Or if you see Arabs say, no, I hate black people, I'm tired of them. You be like, oh, but I know a friend of mine who, you know, lives in my hood, you know, that Abi is my friend. You know, he's a good guy. So if not all of them are bad. Right. Not all white people are bad. Not all Indians are bad. But us, oh, that one Nigerian said that? Or that one Asian said that? Oh, now we have to go to war against them. They are enemy. So, because we have no love in our heart. Right. We have no sense of humanity in our heart. If we have love for ourselves and love for our own people, we will seek out love naturally. Don't mind even to tell us anything. We'll be like, you know what? As that's how you feel, good luck to you, buddy. Like, I'm gonna go over there and go hang out with Brother Yinka, Brother Hassan, and look for those type of people. So I think what we need to have is love for ourselves and love for our community, and everything will come out naturally. Mm-hmm. So all those idiots people are just hateful people, and they express their hate because you made a video that I love. You said many times we can't fight white supremacy the way we want to. So. And we don't want to take away our sense of, like, we don't know where to put that energy. Mm-hmm. So the easier way is to look at your own brother and be like, you know what? I'm going to fight. I'm going to hurt you. What you say? You looked at me wrong? I'm going to shoot you. Right. Well, you bump me? I'm going to. So it's very psychological in us. Like, and it seems natural and innate because it actually speaks to our not just self-hatred, but our powerlessness. Because it's easy to fight Africans.
That misplaced rage.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Mm-hmm. So because like we want to feel like men, we still want to feel like men, but we know we can't talk to the white man like that. Right. So we're like, oh, let me look. Yeah, the Asians, the Africans, yeah, those are easier. Those are easier prey.
And any African on the continent or in the Caribbean that has anything to say about our ADOS brothers, we ain't rocking with them either. I always tell people, don't think because I'm Haitian, I'm finna go fuck with a Haitian coon and jump over my African American brother or my Nigerian brother. Right. No, if you a coon, you can stay over there. Right, absolutely. Go where the love is. Go where the conscience is. Go where the Africanness is, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm truly about. So you got the vitamin company. Right. You've been traveling all over the world. You know, doing big things. I'm so proud of you, man. You know what I'm saying? Inspiration, man. Big inspiration. You feel what I'm saying? Giving back to the community. What's next for you, brother? What are you going to do next?
Oh, man. So, you know, I don't know if I did a live 5 years ago, and I told people, and some of my followers that from years remember this. They were so amazed. I said I'm going to create a pharmaceutical company, a vitamin company. And people, and I don't think people took me seriously at that time. So yeah, I am, because I planned this many years ago. So I also have an organic skincare company for black people as well. I'm gonna, we're gonna tag that on the video. So next is like I'm creating a network, right? I'm following my mentor, the great Marcus Garvey. One of the blueprint. So we're not stopping our vitamins. We're not stopping, because many times, some of the issues I've had is like people, because again, it hurts me because they will say this, because we've been pushed down for so long that we're not even conscious of our oppression. And then creating a vitamin business, like, really opened our life. Because when I started the vitamin company, we were so used to selling shoes. Nothing wrong with that. To selling T-shirts, to selling, like, maybe, whatever, And not to say there's nothing wrong with that, but we could do more than that. We could create, so when I started a company, people didn't be like, oh, you create a vitamin company? Like medicine company? Like, how the fuck, how do you do that? Like, like they'd be like, oh, like you're not selling clothes or shoes or nothing. You're selling vitamins, right? You have a factory where you're selling vitamins. Like, yeah. So many of our people were like so in shock, right? So not to stray too much from your question, my brother. So I have other plans. I don't want to tell my plans right now, but just know that I'm creating a business network. We're not just talking about vitamins. We're not just stopping at skincare. We going Olayinka everywhere. Olayinka, real estate. Olayinka everything. So I believe our businesses, a true black businesses, is not just for building black people. A true black business also has to be weaponized. Has to be weaponized in protecting black interest, but also being able to dominate other groups if necessary. Right. So I'm working to put us in that position, as a people. So yeah, so I feel like I definitely want to change that concept of that water down black business and oh we're nice and smiling. Because again, one thing is not to say we shouldn't be. We should, I'm not talking about customer service. I'm talking about just the structure of things.
Right.
So we can't like if you're in a position like if you have a gun and I have a knife, I cannot fight you directly because if you see me coming, you just bang, it's over. Right. We can't structure our businesses like them. They have everything. They control the land. They control policies. We are too far behind to be playing nice. Right. We're too far behind to be playing, we're a black business just like them and, we're going to all dance with the world. No, we have to be warriors. We have to be very, very aggressive in our perception of business. Right. Our business cannot be like the Arabs. The Arabs have been taking money from us for centuries. They're set. Cannot be like the Asians. The Asians are world power. Europeans are set. We are not set. Right. So our sense of business got to be extremely aggressive, extremely radical instead of economically. So when people think about revolution, they think about like guns and things. To shoot somebody is the last. It's actually very primitive. Right. Like the war's already won. Right. Like before somebody picks up a gun. I always tell people, but economic warfare is the first most important thing because when people can feed themselves. When people can put roofs over their heads, when men can feed their families, men can have a man in poverty. It will be hard to be men in poverty, but when we can feed ourselves and feed our children and feed our women and clothe our children and do for ourselves, we put ourselves in a position now we're thinking, now what else can we do? Right. We're not going to think, oh, I got to be nice because I won't lose my job. I got to be careful what to say because now, I'm not going to get, We're not worried about that anymore. We think now we have an environment where we could be more revolutionary.
We could be who we are.
Yeah, we're less dependent. Right. You know how they really conquered the Indians in America, the Red Indians here. Yeah. They killed the buffaloes. Yeah. It's economic. Yeah. They didn't go shoot them. They didn't shoot them. They didn't shoot them. They didn't go like of course they can kill them. That we have is wealth because the buffaloes is economics to them. Because Indians weren't like spending money like dollars. They followed the buffaloes wherever the buffaloes went. So they knew that, once we control the buffalo range, we control the economic power. So they started killing the buffaloes for fun. So now they say, no, now we've conquered you, because now you got to depend on us for food. Yeah. Right? So until you're free from that, you can never really be free. Right. You understand? Right. Excuse me, yeah.
All right, listen. Let everybody know where they can find you at. Instagram, Facebook, website. Drop all that information, how they can purchase, how they can become a distributor as well. You get what I'm saying? Absolutely. I'm going to get with you that a little later. My pocket's a little thin right now, but I'm going to get with you a little later on distributing. But definitely, drop that information. Let them know, man.
Yeah, so you could, again, to be a distributor, I definitely scream at distributors because the program is not about money. It's about really choosing the right people that will kind of help our communities, help our people. So I always tell distributors, you could go on my Instagram page, DM me, and we have a conversation, and then I will send you information out to the distributor based on that conversation. So my Instagram is at Olayinka.product. So at Olayinka. It's kind of loud. So it's at Olayinka. .products with an S. Olayinka at Olayinka.product. So go on my Instagram. I'm sure you'll tag it in the video. Go on my Instagram. Just DM me. And then we'll talk about distributor. What comes with that. And also to check my if you want to get our products, we have vitamin C, D, C, zinc, multivitamins for kids. For our kids as well. Our kids love it. The vitamins are delicious. If you get the ones for the kids, be careful because it tastes really good. Some of our kids think it's candy, so they want to take 3 or 4. So I'm telling you, and even the adult multivitamins is beautiful. It tastes really good. So it's not candy. You can only take 2 a day. It's gummies. It's gummy form. So it's all non-GMO organic vitamins. It's www.olayinkavitamin.com. Olayinka, Olayinka, vitamin.com. And also our skincare company as well, www.olayinkaskincare.com. Organic skincare for black people. Our skincare products is never tested on animals, never utilized. A lot of skincare products they hurt animals to make those. So vegan, friendly. We don't use chemical products that hurtful to our skin. It's very melanin based. products. It goes to it works towards aging, for us to we black don't crack, but we want to keep it that way. So it works towards removing wrinkles and things like that. So we have a range of wonderful products, and I always tell people I don't want you to support me just because it's black owned. I want you to support this because it's superior. And I feel like having a black owned product business doesn't mean anything if you're giving nonsense products or service. So you utilizing it, give me reviews, let me know what you think. I'm open to it. Like, I'm confident that you're gonna love it. I'm confident that you take my vitamins, you fall in love, you'll be a lifetime customer. So because we put time and love and effort into creating this product. So I appreciate you, Brother San, for really making this possible. And I've been wanting to connect with you for so long. But I'm happy that this finally happened. So I love you, my African brothers in Haiti, in Nigeria, in Ghana, in America, in the Caribbean. We are one. And this business represents all of us. It's a Pan-African business. And this business, 20% of our profit not only goes to black people, but African people in America, because we do donate to organizations in America as well, also in the Caribbean and also in Africa. So we're everywhere. So once you purchase our products, you're also purchasing a part of Pan-Africanism ideology. So I appreciate that. Love you guys.
All right. Yeah. That's a wrap up, man. Appreciate you again, bro.
Thanks so much,
Appreciate
brother.
you again.